Alright, so today we're going to talk about just kind of the basics of inequalities, how we write them, how we solve them, what the symbols mean, that kind of thing. And so basically, when it comes down to it, an inequality is a statement that compares two expressions that are not strictly equal by using one of the following signs. So generally, inequalities have a range of numbers that they represent. So they use signs like less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to. So these are those symbols. One more time. Less than. This is the less than symbol. This is greater than. This one is less than or equal to. Notice the only difference is we have a line underneath it. That's the or equal to part. Greater than or equal to. And not equal to. And those are the main symbols that we use. Working our way down, when we solve an inequality, we use the same steps as we use when we solve a multi-step equation. So the first step is always going to be to distribute if necessary. Then it's going to be to combine like terms if necessary. Then we're going to move our variables to one side. Again, if necessary. Just depends on the problem. Some of them have them, some of them don't. And then finally we're going to solve. And the only main difference that we need to keep in mind when we're working with inequalities is that if we multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the inequality symbol. So looking at just a very simple example, negative 3x is less than 21. To solve this, we know that we need to divide both sides by negative 3. When we do that, we have to flip this less than symbol to a greater than symbol. So here, notice we divide both sides by negative 3, and so here, notice we flip the inequality symbol from a less than to a greater than symbol. Okay, so that's really the main difference with inequalities. Anytime we're working with inequalities, if we multiply or divide by a negative number, if we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to flip that inequality symbol. Alright, so then a couple of other things. Because inequalities are often represent a range of numbers, we represent them in a lot of different ways. They can be graphed, they can be written as an inequality, and they could also be written in what we call interval notation. So when a specific number is part of the inequality, we use the less than or equal to or greater than or equal to symbol. That or equal to lets us know that the number is included. When that number is not included, that's when we use just the less than or the greater than or the not equal to symbol. Alright, and then the final little piece of the puzzle here is that when we're graphing them, an open circle, like this right here, an open circle, represents less than, greater than, or not equal to symbol. Anytime you see those, we're going to use an open circle. In interval notation, we use parentheses to represent that instead of the open circle. Okay. Now when we're graphing, a closed circle, notice this one that's colored in here, represents the equal to symbol, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. And so for interval notation, instead of using that closed circle, we use brackets. And that'll make more sense as we practice this. And we have an interval notation guide that we'll talk about in another video, and also just some different practice problems and things like that. But I did want you to just kind of have a set of notes where everything is all together about inequalities. The symbols that we used, how to solve them, this key right here talking about what to do if we multiply or divide by a negative, but then also writing them as graphs, inequalities, and interval notation, what to do if it's equal to and that number is included, what to do if it's not included, and how we write that in graphs and in parentheses. And so there's a lot to it, but it's all being written the same way. So if you can kind of wrap your head around all of this, it shouldn't be too bad. But we will continue to talk more about this in class. But if you do have any questions, make sure you let me know.